Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's having a blessed, wonderful Sunday. I've been running groceries and sheets on beds and things of that. I've been pretty busy today, so I'm doing a pretty simple, easy supper tonight. And the main dish is not anything I'm going to show you guys how to cook because I'm actually not cooking it either. My family loves tamales, and it's real hard to find an authentic tamale, honestly. But I have found a brand of tamale that comes in a little bag, and they're the Texas Tamale Company is what they're called, and they come in a little bag, and they're out of Texas. And the local Piggly Wiggly, well, actually the Piggly Wiggly where my mama lives usually has them in stock, and they carry pork and chicken and the beef. And I bought the beef this time to try, and I bought 2 dozen because they're somewhat small. But I like to doctor mine up a little bit. I make it's called a Tex Mex Chili Gravy, and I guess the reason it's called gravy is because you make it with a roux, with the flour and the butter, and you get it all started that way. So my tamales are certainly not homemade because I would not even attempt to try to make a tamale. But I can make a pretty good sauce to go on top of the tamales. Some of them in my family like the Tex-Mex gravy on the top. Some do not. Some just want the white cheese, like the white cheese dip that you find at a Mexican restaurant. They want that on top of it. So I do usually a pan of plain tamales with the cheese dip, and I'm also going to do a pan with the sauce, the Tex-Mex gravy, if you will, on there. And so I'm going to show you guys how I make this Tex-Mex chili gravy. And y'all, I think you could probably use this on just about anything. Enchiladas are probably delicious on an enchilada cooked in the oven. Because honestly, I think that's probably what this sauce is for, more of an enchilada than a tamale. But I do not like just a dry tamale. I like to have a little sauce on mine. So I am going to get everything set up, and I'm going to show you guys how I make this gravy. Thanks. Okay, guys, as you can see, I have a 1/4 cup of butter in my skillet on a medium heat, medium high. You don't want it too hot, but if you've made a roux before, you know you got to have a butter or a canola oil. You can use canola oil. I've used it before as well. Seems to work out fine. But along with the butter, we're going to use 2 cups of chicken stock. We're going to use 1/4 cup of flour. And there's several spices in this recipe, y'all. There is a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1 1/2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 cups of chicken broth, 1/4 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 1/4 cup of butter, like I said, that's going to melt in your pan, and then 2 teaspoons of cumin. The spices you're gonna put them all together in a little thing and just mix them all together. And that's essentially all there is to the gravy. Like I said, I'm gonna show you guys how to make this roux real quick. I can remember before when I first started cooking, I was very intimidated at the thought of making a roux, because I always thought it was something I've never, until the last couple of years, never really been good at making gravies or sauces or anything like that. So the more times I've done it, the better that it gets. It's really not hard, y'all. I think the key is to whisk and whisk just to make sure you do not get any lumps in your sauce, because that's what makes them so good, and is that there's no lumps in it. And that's, I think, the mistake most people make when they're making a roux or a gravy, is that they don't stir enough, or they get too many lumps in it. I'm going to try to move this camera in so you guys can maybe see a little bit better. See what I'm doing? So as you can see, my butter is melted in my pot, in my pan, and it's you know, it's got a little bit of a, it's kind of bubbling a little bit, so that means to me that it's ready to go. So I'm going to just pour a little bit of this flour in there, and I get it, do it a little at a time, like I said, because you want to make sure you get all of the lumps. You don't want any lumps in it. So you just, if you do it little bits at a time, you have less of a chance of getting huge lumps. So that is that 1/4 cup of flour, and I'm going to stir this for about, I don't know, maybe a minute or so, until it starts turning a brown color. You'll notice when it starts turning kind of brown that it's ready for you to pour the next ingredients in it. And the next thing we're going to pour into this is your spices. And don't forget, you've got pepper, salt, oregano, chili powder, cumin in here, and garlic powder in here. That gives it this, you know, Mexican flavor. I really enjoy this this sauce. Like I said, this is really good on an enchilada. If you like to make enchiladas, this would be great to layer on the top of your enchiladas. But if y'all can see how smooth that is. It's not lumpy, it's smooth. Now you can see that it's boiling up. So getting about close to where I need to put my spices in. And when I put my spices in, it's going to thicken up even more. It becomes almost like a paste. And that's your base for, guys, if you're going to make a gravy, if you're going to make a mac and cheese, this is the basic roux right here for many of the sauces that you and I eat and make. And it's really, like I said, it's not really hard. It used to intimidate me, but the more I've made it, the less, you know, I've let it intimidate me. So I'm going to go ahead now and put my spices all inside. Like I said, it's going to turn almost like a paste. I mean, it's going to be real thick. So you want to stir that up, and you're going to stir this up probably another, I don't know, another minute or so. You want to get these spices real good and incorporated in that flour mixture. And like I said, you're making sure you get all the huge lumps out of it. I'm going to be adding my chicken broth here in just a minute, and once I do, you'll see it's bubble up, and that's when it starts really cooking and getting yummy. So we're gonna stir this just for just another few seconds and get it all good and mixed in there. My family loves Mexican food. I'd say that's probably one of our most favorite things to eat. And I enjoy making it. I love quesadillas and tacos and enchiladas and burritos. I love all that stuff. I like going out to the Mexican restaurant too. Don't want to cook all the time. All right, so this is my 2 cups of chicken broth, y'all, and I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in. You hear it? Can you hear it sizzling? And this is when you really got to get your whisk in there. Get it mixed up real good. And it's going to be real thin now. This is very thin at first. But you're going to let this simmer on your stovetop for at least 10 minutes. And the longer it gets in there, guys, the thicker it's going to be. Now, I don't want it too terribly thick because I'm going to be pouring this over these tamales that I've got over here. I'm going to make this gravy. I'm going to let it simmer, and then and you don't have to continually stir the entire time. I'm just trying to make sure there's no hard lumps in there, y'all. Here's a good, maybe a better view, if I can get it to where you guys might could see it a little better. Sorry about the camera angles, y'all. See how it's kind of thin? It will get thicker as it boils. It will thicken up. And once it does, it's going to be, you know, going to be really, really good. You can see that I've got my tamales sitting over here, on the stove. Can you see them? Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm such a bad camera person. But there's the tamales. I've already shucked them. You know, they come with a corn husk. And they come with a corn husk on them. If they're a good, authentic enchilada, they're going to come with a corn husk. So I take them out of the corn husk and I just spray with cooking spray the pan. And we get that, you know, good and I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Take it out of the corn husk and put it in the casserole dish. One pan, like I said, will have no sauce because I got some in the house that don't like the sauce. And then, of course, the other side's going to have the sauce on it. So let me just angle this back down so maybe you guys can see. There we go. Here we go. So there is that beautiful gravy. And it's already beginning to thicken up, y'all. It doesn't take long. It really don't take long to get this good and thick, and it smells really good with all those spices in it. Let me get a spoon here so maybe y'all can see just how thick it really is. See, it's still liquid, but it isn't just not, it's not real runny. So I tell you what, that's about perfect right there. That right there is about perfect. So I'm gonna turn this off. Mix it up a little bit. And I'm going to pour this over the top of my tamales. Okay, so I've got my pan of tamales here. As you can see, I've already taken the corn husk off of them, and they're in a sprayed a pan. And I'm just going to take this beautiful gravy. I mean, look at that, y'all. Pretty. And I'm going to we're just going to pour it all over the top. Anything that doesn't get covered with this sauce, y'all, are probably going to get overcooked or hard. You know what I mean? So sometimes if something's exposed, it's hard. So I'm going to get my spatula here, and I'm going to try to spread this gravy on top of this thing here. Got my oven set to 425. These are already cooked. I'm just really having to heat them up. So now I'm going to put a little mozzarella cheese on top, just to have something a little melty. Can't have enough cheese, y'all. Cheese is probably one of my most favorite things to eat in the whole wide world. Here's my other pan of tamales, y'all. I've already put some of the white cheese sauce on it. We're going to pop both of these in the oven real quick. Alright. Here's the one with the sauce. Here's the one that's just the cheese. Now these tamales come frozen, y'all. They come frozen, so I like to thaw them out before I put them. You know, I don't like to cook them from frozen. I like to cook them from thawed. So that's essentially it for dinner tonight, y'all. I'm going to heat up some of this white cheese dip. I've got some tortilla chips I bought today at the grocery store, and we're going to have us a little Mexican feast. So hope y'all enjoy this versatile gravy. I mean, I hate calling it gravy because it doesn't taste like a gravy, but I guess I know why, because of the roux. That's why it's called a gravy. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I think you could use it really on just about anything you could possibly want. So give it a try. Tell me what you think. Try the roux. If you haven't made a roux before, try it. Get in the kitchen and experiment. Hey, you're never going to get good at something until you try and you do it over and over. And that, you know, that's why so many old ladies, like me, get better at cooking because we've been doing it for so many years. Cooking for our families or cooking for ourselves, not necessarily just our families. But I hope you guys have a blessed, wonderful week. I hope that you are productive in your days. I hope your work weeks go by quick. I hope you have no sicknesses. Y'all stay safe out there. And hey, thank y'all for watching again. It really makes me happy knowing that you all have watched my videos and that you enjoy them, because y'all have been a blessing to me, and you don't know that, but you have. And I thank you all so much, and I'll talk to y'all soon.